Hi, brother teacher here. I've been attempting to do this video for about 30 minutes and my camera just does not want to cooperate. But I believe I'm here now and I'm going to take a stab at it. One of my viewers saw a video by another martial artist who is known by the name of Ramsey Dewey, MMA fighter practitioner, where Ramsey Dewey allegedly was debunking some Bruce Lee myths. And my viewer, my subscriber, wanted my input. And I had seen this video with Dewey before, and here is where I am. First of all, I don't want to continue to beat the dead horse. In other words, there has always been an elephant in the room as it relates to what Bruce Lee's accomplishments has been. And I believe if people were actually truthful, if they were really honest with themselves, they wouldn't be bashing Bruce Lee the way that they have. Some of these so-called Bruce Lee detractors and haters. Whatever their reasons are, it's neither here nor there. It's not my issue. It's something that's very much a character issue with these people. If you cannot acknowledge and give proper or due credit to someone who has made such astounding leaps in a particular field of study, and in this particular instance we're talking about martial arts and Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is not the only one that's ever impacted martial arts. There are hundreds and even thousands of people who have impacted martial arts in a positive way that has influenced many millions of others, both enthusiasts and even martial artists. Now, I hope that's fair. Now, the question is Bruce Lee worthy of the position of being called the greatest martial artist of our time? There are many great martial artists of our time. I've said this before. There were people that were as good as or even better than Bruce Lee. But during the time that he lived, he was the one that surfaced. Everyone else didn't. They were not exposed to the world as Bruce Lee was. For whatever their reasons were, some of them were masters of yesteryears who had lived maybe hundreds and even thousands of years before Bruce Lee had even become a household word. Now, the question from my viewer is to respond to the debunking of the myths about Bruce Lee. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole any further than I have to. I'd rather focus on who Bruce Lee was and his accomplishments in a simple summation. Bruce Lee is the most celebrated martial artist of our time. That cannot be refuted. If you Google his name, it speaks for itself. If you mention his name amongst martial arts communities and martial arts schools, for the most part, I'm not talking about this small percentage that don't like him, don't respect him, don't want to give him credit, believe that he didn't give the proper amount of time in the martial arts to have achieved such a title of nobility, if you will. I'm not talking about those individuals. I'm talking about what most of us know to be true. If Bruce Lee was a fake martial artist, if he was just simply an actor, then why in the world is he acknowledged by the world as the greatest martial artist of all time? The world is a liar? Is that what you people are saying? Couldn't be. If you're saying he was not legitimate, any of you that's saying Bruce Lee was not a legitimate martial artist or an excellent practitioner of the martial arts, then he has fooled millions of people. And we all know that that's not true. He was the real deal, as they say. Bruce Lee, born November 27, 1940. He died July the 20th, 1973, at the age of 32. He had 4 siblings, in addition to himself. It was a total of 5 of them. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco by Grace Lee. His father's name was Lee Hoi Chun. Bruce Lee lived in Hong Kong for a period of time. He had some issues with getting into trouble with gangs and so forth and fighting. And then his father, who had initially began to teach him Tai Chi, later on he referred Bruce Lee to a friend of his, someone he knew named Yip Man, who studied and trained in Wing Chun. Bruce Lee took Wing Chun under Yip Man. He never completed the whole system of Wing Chun. Bruce Lee came to the United States to save his family's face and their reputation with $100 in his pocket. Bruce Lee, when he came here, he opened up a school and then 2 subsequent schools. He taught many celebrities: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Coburn, Steve McQueen, and the list goes on, and various other people that came along that he found to be worthy of studying under himself. Bruce Lee went against Chinese custom and tradition by teaching non-Chinese martial arts. Bruce Lee died of what is believed to be an aneurysm, a blood vessel burst in his brain from taking medication from Betty Ting P in her apartment as he was taking a break from a film that he was doing, and he went into a coma, never to return from the coma, and he died by some people's description, death by misadventure. Bruce Lee has 5 major martial arts films that he had appeared in. Game of Death was never completed because Enter the Dragon came along, and that was his pride and joy. He never got an opportunity to see how it did in the box office because he died in the same month that it was released. And he did Fist of Fury, which was also called Big Boss. He did The Chinese Connection, which was also of another title, and he did Way of the Dragon, which was also called Return of the Dragon. Bruce Lee got a lot of martial artists more popularity. He was responsible for many people's success in the martial arts through their direct and indirect affiliation with him. He hired many people on the movie sets of the film projects that he had, and he enhanced the careers of many, many people and martial arts practitioners alike. Angela Mao, who played his sister in Enter the Dragon. Bob Wall, who played a horror in Enter the Dragon. And also in Return of the Dragon, Bob Wall was there as well. The person or the individual that they call Bolo Young, whose real name is Yang Zi, he enhanced his career as well. John Saxon was an American actor. He enhanced his career, his portfolio. Bruce Lee enhanced the late Jim Kelly's career and gave him a platform to build upon from Enter the Dragon. And Jim Kelly went on to make Black Belt Jones, Tattoo Connection, Black Samurai, appear in 3 the Hard Way, and 1 Down, 2 to Go, and so forth. So Bruce Lee enhanced a lot of people's careers in martial arts, just to name those being just a few. Bruce Lee was responsible for making the martial arts popular throughout the entire world. During the time that Bruce Lee lived, the late 60s, early 70s, don't forget that racism was still abounding in America. Not only for the black man, but also for the Asian man. There was a dissension between the U.S. and Asia. Bruce Lee broke down those barriers, and down went the curtain that separated the two countries. And martial arts began to flourish, as I said, throughout the world. Bruce Lee became the hero of China, being the first international superstar to rise from China, especially in the martial arts. Bruce Lee influenced me when I was a child. I idolized him as a child because I didn't know what an idol was at the time. I just simply respect and admire him and his work. I no longer have any idols because I'm older and I understand the difference. Bruce Lee has accomplished many things as it relates to myths about him and things that he didn't do. I'm going to focus on some things that he did do by saying that he made the nunchaku, the weapon that used to be an agricultural tool from Okinawa originally. He made it popular throughout the world. Some people call them nunchucks or nunchuckles. Dan Inosanto was one of Bruce Lee's students who taught him how to use them. Bruce Lee took those weapons to another level, and he used those nunchakus in virtually all of the movies that he did. Bruce Lee, he also made the martial arts system of Wing Chun popular throughout the world. Even though his grandmaster, Yip Man, taught him up to a certain point, Yip Man did not make Wing Chun popular throughout the world. Bruce Lee made both Wing Chun and Yip Man popular throughout the world. So, we know him for his finger push-ups, his 1 inch and his 3-inch punch, his 2-finger push-ups, his thumb push-ups, his incredible physique, his incredible speed, the fact that Bruce Lee was relentless in the perfection of himself. And he said in an interview, honestly, martial arts to me is expressing yourself. And Bruce Lee did just that. He expressed himself through martial arts. Martial arts was the medium by which he expressed himself. And he did a perfect job of it. So much so, it shortened his life, but it expanded his legacy. Bruce Lee was, during his time, the greatest martial artist of that time. And no one has ever rivaled the accomplishments and the notoriety that Bruce Lee has attained on this plane that we call Earth. That was it. And that was all. And as we always say, rest in peace, Little Dragon, Lee Sao Lung, Jun Fan, Bruce Lee. This is Brother Teacher. I'm out.